Good evening, everybody. We'd like to welcome you to The Game Plan. This is a podcast that we've been thinking about for a long time, Rodney Cavness and I. My name is Arthur Lewis Jr., and born and raised here in Beaumont, Texas. A long-time veteran teacher, coach, mentor. And I think it's very important that we share some of our ideas about exactly what's going on around us. I was fortunate enough to play football 100 years ago, quarterback. And didn't make it, got cut. Tom Landry sent me home with an apple and a road map. And I came back and started teaching and coaching. And that is what I love to do. And that's what I continue to do, even though I've retired since. Back then, black quarterbacks hadn't quite turned the corner yet for blacks. America didn't think that we could do the job, but we know since then a lot has changed so far as black quarterbacks. Started coaching and teaching and enjoying myself. I love coaching and teaching, and I've been doing it for the last 43 years. And I'm so blessed to be a part of this podcast of The Game Plan. And that's what we're going to do from each episode. Hopefully we inform you about some things that you hadn't talked about or you don't know about. But again, I am so glad to be here with you. And my friend Rodney Cavness, he's up next. Tell us a little bit about you, Rodney. What's up?
Man, grew up Deer Park, Texas. Went to Lamar University, got my degree, played some football, got out, started coaching and teaching here in the Beaumont area. Was an assistant principal, and was an assistant principal with you while you were a head coach.
That's right.
One school, went on from there, building principal at a big 5A high school, on to superintendent in a district with 550 kids, in a district with 5,000, then a district with 9,000. So got some experiences, got some stories to tell, and maybe we can come up with some common sense solutions on how to fix some education.
That's the whole thing. If we don't have nothing else, you have a doctoral degree, master's degree, I have degrees, I have master's degrees, but one thing that my daddy talked to me about more than anything else is having common sense, man.
Common sense. Dad always told me just treat people right and work hard and you'll be blessed. So
absolutely,
that's where I'm at. So
that's where we are.
Retired in 20, went into another line of work and moved back here, and we got together, started talking. So maybe we can at least make people think without us getting canceled off the face of the earth. And I encourage everybody to tune in to our special edition, Cheerleading is the Devil.
Cheerleading is the devil. Yeah, I can remember being over cheerleaders, and we'll get to that later. I was over cheerleaders at Silsbee back in 2001, and it was the worst job I ever had. Not at Silsbee High, but that Mr. Day gave me that position of being over the cheerleaders.
Yeah, so that can get out of hand, especially if you mess the tryouts up. Either way, it's going to be tough. So
right.
I think superintendents and principals look forward to that. Coming in April every year. You got testing going on, you got cheerleader tryouts, drill team tryouts, drill team officer tryouts. That's a whole nother issue. So maybe we can share some experiences, we can laugh a little bit, cuss a little bit, tell some jokes.
Absolutely.
And when you're wrong, I'll let the crowd know.
Yeah, I know. You'll remind me when I'm wrong. And I'm gonna sure let you know when you're wrong. And you know, you're not wrong very often, but I'll let you know what's up. This thing almost didn't come off. Because I thought we were going to have to cancel the damn thing, but you have to work. And what was going on in Kentucky where you had to get out there, man? What was up?
Well, the business I'm in, we do disaster restoration across the country. And
Wow.
They had a series of tornadoes there in the London area.
Wow.
So we
I
get on a
sure hate
plane
to
and
hear
get
that.
there and get eyes on it. And if there's work to do and we can help people, we get our equipment out there and our crews and we get to work.
28, I don't know if I'm right or wrong, roughly 28 people died from that
I think
that wave of tornadoes.
Yeah, it was about 24.
Yeah.
The area affected was really bad.
When you start thinking about, I start thinking about the why we're doing this. I think about cultural issues that we'll be talking about. I think about the many sports. People love
issues.
sports. I love
Yeah.
sports.
Yeah.
And then, God forbid, we don't I get my wife to go get my gun and shoot your ass behind we start talking about politics. That's one of the episodes. to where we'll talk about. But it's all good.
It's all good.
It's good to talk about things and
I
just
think
let them know what's happening.
People will find that we're common sense and we're not like extreme one way or the other.
No.
So, and if you are, I'll point that out.
Yeah, you let me know, right?
I'll let you know, and I'll call you out on that. But
you know, Rodney, thinking about your background, when was the first time you went to high school with a black person, or school with a black person?
we had a brother and sister, black kids at high school, good kids. I wasn't around black folks till I was in college.
Absolutely.
I mean, my knowledge of black folks is Soul Train and Fat Albert.
I get you. I get you. And mine was pretty much the same. They integrated Beaumont.
Yeah.
They tried to move me from where I grew up in Tribe City, and they not tried to. They moved me to another part of town that was white, and that was my big thing. So basically, growing up, I was never around whites until South Park. I went to an integrated high school. But I'd like to talk about something that has affected me in pretty much all of the country, man. When you start thinking about Shadur Sanders, who I was very blessed in that my godson, Darryl Colbert Jr., I coached his father, Darryl Colbert Sr., he trained Shadur Sanders for the last 4 or 5 years. And that's all we talked about. We talked about him going, maybe some people at one time talking about the first pick or the third pick or the fifth pick.
Yeah.
We never talked about him going down
Fourth,
to
fifth round, something
fifth
like that.
round, the fifth round. What's your take on that? What are your thoughts? I think it's bullshit. Straight running bullshit.
I think in just studying a little bit of what they measure these players for, they're measuring their hand size, their height, their speed, their weight, broad jump, high jump, cone drills. They get all this data on these players, and I guess they punch it in and it tells them what to do with them. But as far as measurables go, he runs pretty darn good. He's not super duper fast, but he gets out of the way and can create problems. Throws pretty damn good. They get in the draft, and then all of a sudden they say he's got a weak arm. I don't know where that came from.
Well, it's a lot of theories. My theory, I would almost bet $1 on this, is that I think all the owners got together, all those 32 billionaires got together and said that we're going to show them, because his father said some things that maybe he shouldn't have said about him not going. He was telling which teams he would go to and which teams he wouldn't go to. So now you're telling your future employers, I'm not going to work for you. I'm going to work for you. I won't work for you. And that's not how this stuff is designed.
Yeah.
And I really think that hurt him tremendously. So far as arm strength, he could throw a football. He can win.
He's got a good release.
I mean, and he's a good kid, but he's not. When I say he's not, he has his own way of thinking. I mean, he has his flow. He's a team player, but again, some people in the NFL may say that he probably will not be a good fit for our team, and I guess they showed him, if you will, who's running things, and that's just my humble opinion about the shit.
Yeah, he's just got to get out there and play and prove himself. And you've seen probably quarterbacks better than him that haven't made it, and some not as good as him that have. Like Brady went, mid-round, 6th round, something like that?
7th round.
Yeah.
He's a 7th round pick.
And I think that's from all the data they put in, all the calculations they do, all the measurables, the immeasurables, things of that nature. And if he can make, when you go from high school to college, it's faster. And I can only imagine how fast it is at that top level when you go to that level. And if they can adjust to that, all the media hype, all the news coverage, all the people bashing them,
I think they wanted to show Deion. They were judging his kid on how a lot of people don't like Deion. Mm-hmm. I like a Deion Sanders. He's a winner. Deion speaks his mind. He's free to. He's a winner, and so I think that to get to Deion, they're going to show his son by putting him in the 5th round. But he's in the 5th round now.
So now I think, well, what do they got to gain by saying, "Look at what we did, Dion"? I mean,
That's a good question.
Browns have not always been at the top of the NFL as far as doing anything that they do.
Right.
And they end up with what? 4 quarterbacks from 40 to 20.
Flacco, Watson,
A left-handed
Sanders,
kid.
Gabriel. That's 4. Am I missing one? Anybody?
I think
it's
that's
4.
it.
Those are 4. But you said something interesting, that how they're going to show Dion. They have ways of showing you. Yeah, the powers that be. And I firmly believe they all got together, 32 owners, and said, guess what? You can have him in the 5th round, but he's not going to tell us what he's going to do and what he's not going to do.
I think that has a lot to do with it. I think, imagine if you're a coach and you got a parent that's overbearing,
That's another piece to where Dion would be maybe calling the shots, and just irritating people maybe in his own way. I don't know. You know, you mentioned something earlier about the NIL coming to high school. It's going to be met with the same force that basketball used to sign high schoolers. Straight, they didn't even have to go to college. Hell, I was working at Vincent Middle School, and one of the good players, he had 2 offers, an 8th grader. Yes, that's right. An 8th grader had 2 major offers. He's not even in high school. So this whole paradigm is changing. I don't think it's good because they hadn't totally thought about all of this.
Yeah.
It's good for one point that the money is there, that you can get money, but sometimes it can corrupt the kids, corrupt their outlook, and they're only thinking about one thing.
Money.
Money.
That's it. And I think that's what ran Saban out. I mean, he wasn't playing that.
Absolutely. Well, Saban wasn't playing that, but then that field started getting a little bit more level. So to where he didn't have all of the stroke that he had before because the people with the money
Or coaching.
They're
running it.
Like some guy may star in a program for 1 year, and then he gonna shop himself around the next year.
Always looking. And you got players that can go to stay another year and make more money than go in the NFL, and that happened too.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely. It's wild. I wish back 100 years ago, hell, I signed with Rice coming out of high school.
Yeah.
And Rice, man, they wasn't giving anything. The SMUs were doing it. A&Ms was doing it. But yeah, it's nothing like it is now to get even the lowest players on teams. I mean, just the marginalized players getting 60 and 70,000 a year.
Yeah.
Then the other tiers getting $300,000 to $600,000 NIL.
Yeah.
And then the
high tier.
superstars is $1 million plus.
Yeah.
How would you like to coach somebody? You're a head coach and you're making whatever you're making, and this guy tell you to go to hell.
Making $4 million, you get on their ass and they're going to leave and go somewhere else. How the hell do you know who's there in August?
You don't.
They're every day on ESPN. There's people trading off. I don't know, man. They probably need to. They're gonna. It'll evolve to the point to where they're gonna say we need some standards and some practices and some laws, and they'll write a bunch of laws and try to stick to it. And some people won't, and a coach will get suspended, and a kid will get suspended, and it'll be a big mess, and then they'll get mad and leave. So I don't know what the answer is, but. I mean, does it create a level playing field? I don't think it does.
No. What about loyalty? Go Big Red?
Yeah, you think about SMU, how well they did last year. I think that they've got the money to be competitors.
Oh, I got something like that.
High school kids walking around making that kind of money.
High school kids making that kind of money. And it was funny, my last stop at Beaumont United, a friend of mine, man, Coach Pope came in. And I think he was at the University of Houston. I say, Coach, what's going on? He say, Lou, this whole thing didn't change. And we weren't even talking about NIL. His head coach told him, and I don't even know what his head coach was, Lou, we can't fuss at the kids. I say, the shit you just said.
We can't fuss at them.
He said, we can't. I say, your wide receivers dropping the ball, your quarterbacks throwing interceptions, and you can't fuss. He say, Lou, we cannot fuss at them.
See, I can't work in that scenario.
That would be but that's where you
hire
can't get
me,
on
let
them.
'em
You
coach.
can't, and they're gonna get mad and quit. They're gonna put their name in the portal.
That molded us, that ass chewing from the coaches, cussing out, the working us to death. I mean, that all help you get up on a Monday morning.
It
Go to
does.
work.
It teaches you about real life. And
Yeah.
it's just the way it is. It's not being mean. And, you know, it was funny with me. My last stop at Beaumont United, I was still whipping their ass with them boards.
Yeah,
I
we
still
did.
had a board.
We did.
And then so recruiters came in from hell. They recruit all over the country, and so they was interested. A couple of my guys said, "Coach Lewis, what is this?" I said, "Man, what does that look like?" He said, "Coach, I know what it is. You still use that?" Hell yeah, I still use it. I say, "How many do you send the rest of the country?" You. I say, "Man, you got to be
Just
kidding
you
me.
down there beating those poor children with
Beating
a
those poor
piece
children
of
to
wood.
death." No, I think it's about it gets them motivated. It got me. Jerry Hinch used to get me motivated when he put that board on my behind.
Or that whistle strap.
Either
or
way.
whatever he could grab.
It either way, but it's love.
It's
that
love.
piece,
Yeah.
to where mothers come in and want you to pamper their children. I'm like, ma'am, do you even know who I am? I don't do that. I don't.
Get them in, break them down. I mean, get
Yes,
on
sir.
them hard, destroy their little ass.
Yes, sir.
I mean, break them down. You need to quit being a dumbass. You need to act like a grown man. Da. Let them suffer for a couple days, and then start building them back up.
Now you're building men.
Now you're building them up,
and
Now
we're all
they're
on one team.
Get them ready for Friday night and have a good showing for the hometown crowd. You know. So if we shift a little bit and we talk about school funding, we talk about how we pay for our schools, the rules, the do's, the don'ts. I was always a superintendent of a Chapter 41 or a property wealthy school district. So we made more than an allotted amount per kid. So at that point, we'd send all that money back to the state and they'd send it wherever they wanted to. So I spent as much time trying to figure out how to hang on to our funding.
Right.
In our tax effort as I could. I spent as much time doing that as I did anything. And we'd visit some schools, and you could tell you ask any educator, teacher, whatever level, they're going to say it's not funded right. And it's tough because a lot of superintendents I talk to now run deficit budgets just to open the doors.
Right.
I mean, the price goes up every year. Do I think it's a sustainable business? I don't know. I don't know that it is. It keeps getting more expensive. The state keeps putting money towards it. You're never going to hear a superintendent or principal or CFO tell you that the state has thrown money at it. And they'll say, well, if they threw money at it, we could see what we could do. But they're just not going to do that. So that leads us to the school choice thing. And in talking to good friends of mine, including Dr. Swallow over at Huffman, smart guy. He's very much against the school choice. I was open.
School choice, you mean vouchers?
Yeah, vouchers.
Okay.
Vouchers, savings plans,
Yeah.
tax savings plans, whatever they're
Okay.
gonna, whatever label they put on it. And you know, that allows a parent to send a kid to private school or send them to homeschool. I think the amount's up to like $10,005 or something like that.
$10,500.
So when I look at this and I think, well, I can think of a handful of school districts that are really, really, really good. They're not in the news. They're in the news for good stuff. So I think it's going to pull some kids from some public districts, but I think it's going to settle out, and I think they'll be fine. Those superintendents and CFOs and support staff for the superintendent, very smart. They'll work out a way. I think they'll be fine. I think it'll level out. But then the other side is going to say, well, we already had school choice. You could have chosen to live in this town in Texas, or you can move to this school
that's
somewhere.
easy to say that.
It is easy.
I can't, the black kids, the black socioeconomically deprived families, they can't move over here, over there. So that leads me to believe that, man, they going to catch the most hell. And that's the design, and everybody know that. From what I know about it, it's going to pull money away from already struggling districts. Mm-hmm. And the less money you have, the less teachers you can, qualified teachers, the less programs you can have. and it's going to be damn lights out for the inner city schools.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah.
That's what it's going to be. And
Those, if they can get out of there and have transportation to get to a different school, they're going to go, but some of them might not.
okay, devil's advocate. This is what some people are talking about. Okay, to go to that private school to get somebody to drop them there. Yeah, but you know that private school, they don't have to answer to anybody.
Yeah.
I can let you in if I want to let you in. I can raise the price. If 10,000 coming with you, 10,000 coming with you, and they can raise the prices to 16,000 a year.
Yeah.
And that person that's getting the 10,000, they mama don't have 6,000 to make the difference.
And they probably, and I don't know for sure, but they can select who they want and don't want.
Yes,
I don't
sir.
know, especially for the special ed kid that needs those services, and that's a good topic we can talk about. I think, I don't know what kind of services
you
they have.
lean right there. Park right there and tell me about that. People, that's very important. They do not have to offer those special ed services in those private schools.
I think, Arthur, that if we're talking about tax money, I think somewhere down the road the government is going to have their hands on it some way or another.
The government that's cutting funding, that government you're talking about?
I
Which
think
government
so.
you talking about?
That government.
It can't be that government who's cutting damn everything.
Well, I think competition's good for public schools. I think there's a long list of topics we can get into to talk about a whole lot of different aspects. I mean,
different scenarios, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, let's get them to class. Let's get them in, dressed half decent and looking good and ready to learn, and not, getting out of the car and getting in a fight, and then they're in trouble. Then mom gets on Facebook and blasts you, and then she's got to come up to the school, and then their kid's autistic, and you knew it, and you didn't do anything about it. Now their kid's being bullied. Well, who'd you tell? Well, we didn't tell anybody. Well, how the hell are we supposed to help you if we don't know? So it's
hey, listen, this guy sounds like a superintendent. You catch all of that kind of hell?
Sound like an old wore-out truck is what I sound like.
No, I hear you, but that's unfortunately that's where we are in public education.
Yeah.
Right
So
now.
if you think about it, Art, and you were AP dealing with little Johnnies, if you got a classroom full of kids and you got two knuckleheads in there, and it only takes one.
Listen to me. Listen to me. Listen to me. Great
Here we
question.
go.
I can fix it in 10 minutes. I can fix it in 10 minutes. And we don't have board members and we don't have superintendents are scared of this. Their ass is bad. They've been bad. They've been tearing up the school. I can vouch for this. I'm looking at the referrals, 2nd grade, 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade,
5-year-olds.
5 years, just tearing up the school.
Tearing it up.
And now you're picking on my son.
So
This is, my thing was to do this. Build more seats in the DAEP.
yeah.
Build more seats. And guess what? The ass mess up, you stay there the rest of the damn year. Send you there for 4 or 5 weeks, you come back, you tear up the damn school some more. That's enough of that. We have kids that want to have school. We have kids that want to learn. It's not that many kids, Rodney, that's tearing up the school.
You're telling real Arthur Lewis stuff, and here's the deal. You get a kid in class, or 2 kids in a class of 30, and you got a teacher that's dedicated, that wants to work, likes working with kids, trying to teach, and you got Johnny and Arthur sitting over here being assholes.
Yes, sir.
Screaming and hollering, acting a fool, grabbing the girls, won't pay attention, don't do homework, dress like hell, looking like hell, and acting like little knuckleheads. So what happens is, so the kid gets in trouble. The teacher's ready to quit. You got 25 or 6 kids in there that give a damn, that aren't learning anything. The teacher wants out. So then the kid gets in trouble, calls mom on the way to the office. Mom goes straight to channel 4612.
Yeah.
And the superintendent is a SOB, and that principal's sorry.
He's scared they're scared of all of them.
Right.
The kid's not scared of nobody.
Right. So the parent goes to the news and they blast us. And then when they're leaving, the news calls us, PR personnel, say, look, we haven't even investigated that. I don't know anything about it. So then on the way home, mom is going to get on social media and try to destroy the superintendent's children's lives, marriage, home life, the whole thing. Then they get to the school, they come in screaming and hollering, cussing, got a bunch of little sweet grandmas working up front, second career type people, and don't deserve to be treated like that. and then the damn parents losing their damn mind in the office. And then, you know, if they did something real bad, you may have to pull like 3 or 4 assistant principals together to investigate it. So the whole damn school, the assistant principals aren't out helping teachers and patting kids on the back. They're tied up in an office getting cussed out by some mom who's mad as hell. And I can't say enough about moms. They deserve to be nominated for saying
right.
that. I'm going to say that over and over and over and over again. But when you blast somebody on social media, you blast somebody in the news, you come up to the school, scream, cuss everybody out. Principal's tied up, assistant principals are tied up, teacher wants to quit, 26 kids didn't learn anything that day, or ever how damn many it is. And then the parent says, well, my kid's being bullied. Well, when did you tell us? Well, I didn't. Well, what the hell do you want us to do about it? This just started today. No, it's been going on for 3 years. Well, God dang, tell somebody. Then, if that doesn't work, then they say, well, my kid's autistic, and y'all knew it 15 years ago.
Wow, here we go.
And you hadn't done anything about it.
You'll be sued.
And you get into a hearing, and here we go. And then now the kids miss class. Now they're getting suspended. Now they're behind, so they go back to class and say, why the hell would I try?
Well, you know what? At Silsbee High School, it was school law that I had taken. I just got my master's degree. And it was a law to where a regular ed student that's 20 damn years old in the 10th grade.
20.
That's always tearing up the damn school.
Right.
I brought this to a judge, and it was legal. All
Yeah.
it was legal.
Found a little loophole.
Found a loophole, and I compiled a case against this kid who's tearing up the damn school.
Yeah.
The judge had the power to order a court-ordered GED.
And a lot of them won't do it.
They won't do it. This one did. We get back to school. I get the mother. The daddy wasn't around. I get him to come in and put them both there and hand them this signed affidavit. This is your last day at Silsbee High School. Have a good life. What the shit is this? What you mean? Have a good day. I called the damn officer. Officer, escort these people off this premises.
Yeah.
That's real.
Yeah.
The teachers found out, oh, Mr. Lewis, that is amazing. That is amazing. But it's time out for that, man.
And I think general public doesn't understand. It just takes one kid in the classroom to keep everybody from learning.
Everybody.
Teacher wants to quit.
Stressed out.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. So again, and this is my thoughts, superintendents all over America, get a pair. Get a pair.
Yeah.
Get a pair to and within the law. Don't let a parent tell you what you can do and what you can't do. Are they gonna say something bad about you? Have some thick skin, you're making a lot of money. Make it equitable to where these kids can learn in a very positive environment. I think we'll all be better for that.
Yeah, we'd have to be. I think the disruption issue in schools has a lot to do with poor performance. I think it's got a lot to do with not retaining teachers. I think it's got a lot to do with burnout and assistant principals, whatever. And how the hell do you turn the news on? How do you go attract quality teachers? They don't want to deal with, why are they going to deal with bad children, get low pay, get a salary that's never going to keep up with inflation?
Who does that?
Yeah.
And then as an assistant principal, I'll listen at some of the things that a student told a female teacher.
Right.
And 3 days later, they are back in class.
Back in class.
Man, I tell my wife, you going to diligent work. Shit.
Yeah.
You out of this game. Because
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm serious. I wouldn't, that type of environment, come on, man. And you've worked hard for your degree and you're qualified. You want to do your best, but you let a few bad apples just tear up the damn school.
Oh, we've got to get into that video.
This is really good.
I'm gonna overlay the video on
Yeah.
that part.
What are you watching, Arthur?
What? Hold up. Time out.
that graduation
Time out.
ceremony
Wait a
that
time out.
night?
Hey,
what's
look.
going on
Y'all
there?
stop them. Do something. Look, hold up, Lou. What the hell is that, man?
That's a high school graduation in Baton Rouge.
Hold up, man. Let me get together. My mind is. I'm an administrator. I'm a principal right now, and to see my kids, what type of culture and climate is that to where they are doing that? No respect of the ceremony.
They went
no
nuts.
They went past nuts. But you know what's crazy about it, and I didn't get to see that part, to where what the parents were doing, if they were high-fiving them or egging them on or just like shaking their heads. That's what the question is. You know what I would have to do at that point? I'll resign. Because guess what? I'm not being effective. I have not been effective.
I taught them better than this. Act like a bunch of idiots.
Yeah. I can't understand that. Now, see, you can say that. Well, you're not gonna say that. But I don't. You think white folks cut up like that, or just what's the deal?
Not as bad.
But
they'll cut up a little bit.
You were at Evadale for a while. They didn't.
Evadale, Mascot, Rebels, long tradition over there. Good little school. They did a good job. Parents were supportive. Had a solid board over there. Real country. Very, very conservative.
I would tease Rodney all the time.
Little Evadale.
I would tell him, Rodney, no, I'm gonna bring it. Black History Month. So he's a superintendent at Evadale, right? I saw him somewhere. I said, man, you got me ready to go? I say, what you mean, Lou? I said, shit, man, I'm gonna bring some of this Malcolm over there, man, and talk about this Black History Month. He said, yeah, you'll be gone and I'll be gone.
At Port Neches Groves, probably the strongest high school traditions I've ever been a part of.
Yes, sir.
Been around. I mean, we're going 0 week San Antonio. We're taking 8,000 people. We're filling stands up wherever we go. Just the lead up to those games was unbelievable.
I've been to one.
And you've been to one.
And it's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable, and that, I think that rivalry with Nederland is the biggest football tradition in the country. I mean, it's
one of the, I think it was voted the top 5 or 10.
And I don't know how the hell those kids get ready to play for that, because there ain't a whole lot of school going on that week.
Rashawn Johnson, I used to work with him, and I went with him. Yeah.
He was a good kid, and just a huge deal. And that's big, man. That's a big deal in Texas, man. Friday night, rodeo, hunting and fishing, barbecue.
So what was the deal of not changing that mascot? What's the deal with that?
The mascot was the Indians, and we had a mascot that was very animated, real cool outfit, dance around. Honestly, I think that Indian Spirit was probably, that would be the highest honor you could have in that school, to have that position. And little kids, are out there dancing.
They dream about that.
Same thing. It's just a good package, the way they did things. So it's Indians is the mascot, and periodically I'd get a phone call. This is so-and-so, from this group or from this Indian tribe. We insist that y'all change your mascot, stop what you're doing. And my response to them was, look, this is not to be defamatory to anybody or insensitive or whatever these new words are that everybody used. And I pretty much told them,
buzzwords, right?
If you don't like what we do, turn the damn page. You don't have to come to the game. We're going to keep doing what we're doing. It works. I sure as hell ain't going to change it. You don't mess with the tradition there. They'll run your ass out of town. So get these calls. Y'all need to shut that mascot down. You're going to need to change mascots immediately. We're going to protest.
Who was this talking? Who was this?
Just different groups around the country that had some association to a group of Native Americans.
Okay.
Whatever group that was.
Cool.
Then you get a call from an Indian group saying, man, we love what y'all are doing. This is the best thing we've ever seen. Don't listen to these people. So you had people on both sides of it. And I'd get letters in the mail, and they were pretty. They weren't ugly, but they wanted us to shut it down. I'd just throw it away. So strong tradition, good school district. People move there for their kids to go there. It's a wonderful place to live.
And doing great.
Yeah,
doing great academically.
And they don't play this one kid messing it up for everybody bullshit in the classroom. Jerk their ass out of there and get them gone. I think that with technology, I'm hearing some ideas of some in-schools or some school suspension at home. You work online. Instead of DAEP, you work at home online. Send them home, let mom, dad deal with them.
They don't want that.
Think about you got to have a facility for a DAEP. You got to have
Absolutely.
X number of seats. There's all kind of compliance issues. You got to have a teacher or two aides or whatever. It's
Correct.
a cost.
Ratio, yeah.
Yeah, and me and you, as hard-assed as we might sound about things, I've never seen really a whole lot of people tried to help that bad kid like we did. And we did help some. But some of them,
Right.
I'm sorry to say, but by the time they were in kindergarten, you can't help them. They're
Right.
that bad.
Right. Well, what bad kids is I was that bad kid. I mean, I was.
I bet you were.
So
Poor mother.
that's why my hook as being a coach, people thought, I know X's and O's, I know football, but I can encourage. Now, once I got a kid, now they're in my locker room.
Mm-hmm.
Now I can really preach and teach and give them tools to become fine young men.
Redirect them when they need to be redirected.
Because so many of them, 90% of my football team, when you were at Ozan, 90% of them, they didn't have a dad in the house.
Yeah.
9 out of 10 kids on my football team
Yeah.
didn't have a father in the house. So, I had ways of getting that remedied.
Mm-hmm.
I would tell the mothers that I'll be their daddy. Don't be leaving your job every 10 minutes. Your ass gonna get fired.
Yeah.
Don't do all of that. And divvy it up to my coaches. I told the coaches the fastest way for me to fire you is for that kid not to have your phone number.
Yeah.
What you mean, Lou? What I mean, I'm out talking too fast. Those are your kids.
Yeah.
If you got 8 linebackers, everybody has a piece of the pie. And it worked well for me.
Yeah.
That was my connection, that's my hook. Because I love kids, I love athletes. Because if people wouldn't have took the time with me because I used to like them streets. A lot of the kids like streets.
Yeah.
Until I got, I got in line to what I needed to do, and this is because of a coach.
All right, so think about to mid-'80s, late '80s, how you coached then versus how you would coach now with the changes in society. And
Funny you should ask that. The last time I coached was 2001. They called me out of retirement. Man, I'm a bailiff. Not they, but God asked me to put Ozan and Central under one roof. And so now the first thing I thought was this. Man, I hadn't coached in 17, 18 years. And the kids had changed.
they changed.
Oh my God. It's like I've never heard so many. Why are we doing that?
Yeah.
Because damn it, because that's what we do. That's
what we do.
Then I'd have to have a damn hey man, y'all asking me this why shit. What you mean why? And the mothers.
I've heard
I
this.
get calls from mothers. Coach, I kind of, I know you're a good coach, and they wouldn't have got you, but you kind of being hard on my son. I said, ma'am, let me tell you something. Let me calm down. Ma'am, your son needs help. The way you handling him and you asking him to, you're not demanding anything of him. His accountability is nil. He does what he wants to do, how he wants to do it. He comes to practice when he wants to come to practice, and if he wants to practice hard, and that's why I send him home. Mm-hmm. And I'm talking about your son is a Division I football player.
Yeah.
But his whole outlook on the why and this and that, and the biggest thing that I see right now, even with my grandson, this bling thing, the bling, just the room. I got an 8-year-old grandson.
White kids are doing it too. In a little league, man, they all got a necklace. They all got some badass glasses on. They look like.
Yeah, you look like $1 million, but we're here to play football. It's kind of out of whack.
Yeah.
To where, who's running the program? Mm-hmm. Who's running the program? Yeah. Who's scared of getting a call from a superintendent about the way the coach talked to a kid?
Yeah.
I'm all, man, listen. If you give me the mic, and you entrusted me to do a job, I promise you, I'm gonna do the job.
Yeah.
I'll leave. And Carol Thomas and I, the superintendent of Beaumont, we went around and around about some things.
What?
Yeah, Carol Thomas back in the day, your man, who's one of the finest superintendents Beaumont's ever had.
He's a good dude. You get him away from the school stuff. He's a country boy. He's
Yeah.
a good fella.
Yeah, he is.
We developed a good friendship. He'd get on your ass. He'd get on that ass hard.
He say, "Damn it, Lewis, you're hard-headed."
Yeah, he used to tell me I was hard-headed too. And I wanted to say, you ought to know, you know?
Those are good days, though, man. But
Those are good days.
But he cared about the kids, and we have to stay like that because who's running the programs?
Yeah.
The kids or the coaches?
And so here's a scenario that comes to mind. You got a coach, he's 27, or a volleyball coach, however old she is, out of college a few years, loves kids, does a good job in the classroom. Great leader, you want your kids to be like them when they get up. Well, the coach slips and says shit or hell or damn at practice. Oh my God. Here comes mom. She wants him murdered for saying a 4-letter.
That they say,
Throw 5 years of school away. He needs to be fired. I want him fired. I want him fired. I want him fired for saying hell in front of my baby. And I'd be like,
do you have to deal with Karens? Tell me about that.
deal with
I want to hear
a
that.
lot of Carol. So Karen comes in. The coach said damn in front of my kid. I'm like, you want him fired? Yes. I want him divorced, fired, and his kids taken away from him. Like, ma'am, does your son have a cell phone? Well, yes. He has an iPhone, whatever. I can assure you that he's seen that before and much more. So we'll talk to the coach and we'll get him to wussify this a little bit so your baby doesn't get their feelings hurt. But yeah, coach slip, say a bad word, mom wants them destroyed their whole life for cussing in front of their baby. And really, when you check, you look back, their kid's not getting to play like they should.
Yeah, you look at the backstory is that's what that's
You
about.
spend 3 days dealing with bullshit that isn't going to matter in 5 minutes.
So listen, man, Rodney, this time has flown by, man, and you know we
Yeah.
have time
Yeah.
restrictions.
Oh, yeah.
And we're right there. And I just want to say, man, this has been a pleasure being on this podcast, man. The game plan. We have a game plan.